Is Cat Williams like diving into the conspiracy theory world, or is Cat Williams like controlled opposition? You know, like is this like one big ass psyop?
Las distracciones y narrativas reinan este mundo tecnológico. Todos tienen una opinión de lo que es la verdad y lo que es mentira. ¿Quién controla el mundo? ¿Los aliens son real? ¿Vivimos en un Matrix? Estas preguntas serán debatidas con José y Daniel G, explorando y descubriendo las verdades de nuestro mundo, nuestras creencias y nuestro reality. Welcome to Cultura Truth Project.
Oh, yeah. Estamos de
yeah.
vuelta, de
¿Qué hay?
regreso. Es Cultura Truth Project. Bienvenido de nuevo, mi gente. Welcome back. José González aquí. Danny G. Dímelo. What's up, bro?
Well, you know, I'm trying something new. You know, you did it a couple weeks ago, and I'm just, copying is the greatest form of flattery, or imitation is the greatest form of flattery. And I'm live on IG right now on at Papi the Comic. So if y'all want to like do like a weird like live deal, just don't forget to follow us on the YouTube. And I'm doing that for my Instagram for the Cultura Truth Project. If you want to see this entire episode, not just a one-way conversation, but also, guys, thank you guys so much. It's been a crazy week. A lot has happened. I do want to apologize for a little bit of the delay on the audio, but the YouTube is on fire. So what's going on, everybody? My name is Daniel Gonzalez, and my brother's here. So,
mi gente, today we're gonna be recapping what we've been doing the last few weeks, and then we're gonna talk about some crazy stuff that's been happening in the news with like internet outages, and then we're gonna talk about a movie that came out last year that predicted all these internet outages, bro. So we're gonna jump into that. Pero antes de comenzar, mi gente, make sure you follow us, síguenos en YouTube, en Rumble, at Cultura Truth Project. También follow us at Gonzalez Media TV, Facebook and Instagram at Gonzalez Media TV. Subscribe to the podcast on all major platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. And do we have any new listeners, Danny? ¿De qué país estamos escuchando?
Well, we Canada coming in strong. So is Texas, Florida, all these new things. It's growing. It's growing. Very, very happy to see the numbers grow. Some of the same countries. We need to get some international people out here on the podcast. Some people from like Japan, talk about some of the conspiracy theories from out of Japan and the Asian community. Maybe we pull some of those Indian numbers. You know what I'm saying? If we go viral in India, I wonder how much money we can actually make.
Vamos a ver si la gente de India le gusta toda esta pendeja, ¿verdad? Pero vamos a hablar un ratito aquí de what we've been doing the last month, porque it's been a pretty big month, bro. We did some major collabs. We did a collab with Thomas the Paranoid American and Alex from the Donut Factory.
Shout out to Donut.
Shout out to Donut. Shout out to Thomas Paranoid American. Y nosotros lo que hicimos fue que we broke down the Super Bowl and all the symbols and the Super Bowl and all that shit, bro. So now that you're on the other side, so you and I will always talk about this shit like behind the camera, because like you and I really like don't believe in like conspiracies, right? We like entertaining the idea and learning about it. We're both skeptics, right? But then we hear people like Donut and we hear people like Thomas breaking this shit down like on a fucking scholastic level, man. What did you what was your takeaway from listening to all this stuff,
bro? So let's start this journey from the Super Bowl in the month of February to today, right? So we did our Super Bowl 2023 edition breakdown, right? And all the creepy stuff that happened during that Super Bowl ritual and the fertility ritual. Then Super Bowl came and went, the Grammys came and went, and we had Donut and Paranoid American on. And I am telling you, man, I am the skeptic of all skeptics. And you know how skeptical I can be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here like, yo, something ain't adding up. Somebody lying, somebody saying something. I'm just saying, hey, are we, it's almost like it's on cue, bro. Like literally ushering in a new way of life. And then Super Bowl happens, and like clockwork, 3 weeks later, we had the internet go down. And I'm telling you, I work in the healthcare industry, guys. This is my day job. And we haven't been the same since that crash about a week and a half ago.
Wow. And we're going to jump into that because I want to talk about how that's
I'm just saying, like real world effects. Like I'm seeing some of these real world effects here. Now, on top of that, we had the market crash. What is it? Today is Wednesday. Was that yesterday? The market crashed. Facebook went down. And it's like in the light of everything that we've listened to, especially when it comes to the big picture conspiracy theories that we've covered on the channel, it really, it's a little too coincidental for my liking. It's a little too on the nose for my liking. I'm like, yo, where's George Knapp with the aliens? Like, he's next. Like, are we going to like interview a cop from the Miami alien incident next so I can just freak out even more, because this is becoming a problem?
I don't know, man, but one thing is for sure, bro, is that the more I learn about this shit, the less the less I understand it. Right? Because as a spectator, when you're looking from things from the outside, especially like the Super Bowl, the regular common person, tú sabes, está mirando el show y lo que está viendo es un show. La buena música, remembering the old times, que sí, yeah. And, all that, singing along with Usher. But then when you talk to guys like Thomas, when you talk to guys like Donut, and then they break down the background symbols, like the stars or even the color coding, what that means, right? And then even like the Super Bowl itself, the entire show, the ritual being held in a bowl, and the bowl is the representation of the feminine, and then you have the football players inside the bowl, which is that masculine male energy. So at the end of the day, bro, it's like one big ass sex ritual, which is crazy to think about, right?
But it's nothing new, right?
It isn't. It isn't.
It's nothing new, right? In the Roman times, there were the gladiators, and before then, there was, the Aztecs had that game where they played in the little hoop with the hip, like depicted in cartoons and stuff like that. So it's nothing new, right? But it's a little too on the nose when it comes to some of these occult rituals and stuff. And you're just like a great comic, and I say this with a huge asterisk, like a great comic once said, skeptical hippo eyes all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Skeptical hippo eyes.
Speaking of spectacle thing of lies, did you check out that Joe Rogan Katt Williams interview?
Bro, I'm like halfway through listening to it, and it's like one of those deep dives where I'm like, okay, Katt, I need a list of books to read so I can get on your level. I need references and cross-referencing so I can also get on your level, because this dude is dropping nuggets and bombs. And here's the thing, right? Spiritually, when you talk about like the spiritual side of things, like him and Joe Rogan, there's a great channel on YouTube called Ruslan KD. He's a Christian content creator. He breaks down a lot of like pop culture and Christianity and pop culture and all that. And he broke it down really well. It was like, dude, Joe Rogan's kind of journey from being 100% hardcore atheist to becoming this kind of soft Christian and believing some of these stories in the Bible and saying, whoa. A lot of these things are starting to like add up. It was like, okay, so there is good, there is evil, there is this omnipotente, un poder omnipotente out here, and he's like slowly crossing over and I'm a man of faith, so I believe in those things. But like to see somebody who was of 2016, Joe Rogan flat out said, it's like, yo, the Bible's full is a book full of jokes. Now he's looking at the Bible, it's like, whoa, there's a lot of things that are like been proved by archaeology here. Like, then, you know, and it's not to sound like too crazy, because I don't want to go too deep into this, but like he breaks, you know, with him and Katt Williams, they break down into the Younger Dryas impact theory, and they go into all of that, and how some of these stories in the Bible and cross culturally through the Sumerians and the Chinese and all these, like, yo, this is too coincidental not to be real. And as a Christian, I'm like, bro, it's been here in front of you the whole time. But at the same time, I'm also like, let's see where you take this, Rogan, because not everything is aliens and, you know, psychedelics. So we got to be careful with that. But it's a very, very interesting thing. That conversation, I think, is one of the more underrated conversations Joe has had on his podcast. And I'm interested to see if there's going to be a follow-up, because they could have done 10 hours easily.
So check this out, bro. So I still haven't listened to the entire interview. I've only caught the clips that social media and the internet's going wild about, right? But it looks like Katt Williams listens to the Juan and Juan podcast, because he talks about the homunculus, bro. He talked about the homunculus, and he talked about alchemy. So is Katt Williams like diving into the conspiracy theory world, or is Katt Williams fucking like controlled opposition? You know, like is this like one big ass psyop?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you this. If you're looking at face value, right? Like I look at Katt as a true comic. He's a comics comic. He's your favorite comic. You know, he's one of those guys, right? To be a comedian, you have to be very smart. You have to be very well read. You have to be very, not just witty, but you have to think outside of the box. And when I think about the way Katt Williams has been, from, you know, his interview on Shay Shay's podcast to now this interview and all the clips that he's been like blowing up for in the last several months, I think he's fighting back something. I don't know what he's fighting back. I don't know what powers that be, let it be of this world or not, are attacking him. I feel like he's fighting back in some way or another. And the way he, especially on the Rogan podcast, which is very different than the one he did with Shannon Sharp, right? Especially on the Rogan podcast, it's like he was very, very meticulous in how he spoke. He was like, Joe, I recognize I'm on the biggest platform in the world. Let me not just throw out dirty laundry. Let me bring receipts along with this dirty laundry.
Let me drop some knowledge up in here. I mean, because he goes deep, bro. Like
he goes deep.
No, he goes deep into a lot of different topics. I mean, this podcast is over 3 hours long, but if you just go into Google or into YouTube and you just type in Joe Rogan and Katt Williams, you're gonna see so many different results to that Jeffrey Epstein. They're talking about Jeffrey Epstein and the Illuminati. There's another video of that same interview where Katt Williams is calling transgenders are satanic, you know. So there's a lot to get into with this Katt Williams. I mean, we may need to dedicate another episode just for that.
Look. Let's not even just talk about Katt. Let's talk about Dr. Phil being the preceding interview to the Katt Williams episode.
What did he say in that interview?
Bro, this is interesting, right? 10 years ago, Dr. Phil was in apologetics towards the trans community. Now he's, in the course of 10 years, he's seen as a healthcare professional. I don't even know if he's still practicing or not, but just in the trans, like he doesn't say it outright, but he says it's like by design that the world is this way, especially in the trans community and the way they're indoctrinating certain people. Now, I don't know how true that is, right? Like, I'm not deep diving into this area of expertise. I wouldn't call myself an expert in any other way, but I can just tell you as an observer, I'm like, 10 years ago, it's on the internet, it lives forever. So, this is what you were saying 10 years ago on your daytime TV show. Now that you don't no longer have a daytime TV show and you have your own network, were your positions truly this the entire time, or were you appeasing your people? Either way,
it's kind of like that Tucker Carlson situation, right? Like when Tucker Carlson was with Fox, he was pushing that Fox narrative, but now that he's not with Fox, he can push whatever narrative he wants or have the opinions that his own opinion as opposed to being fed an opinion, ¿verdad?
That's another way to look at it, right? I think about it and I'm like, hey, I think that the rise of independent media and people like with money that have the resources to do these things that like what we're doing, right? The Ben Shapiro's, with the Daily Wire, now Dr. Phil with his network and Joe Rogan with all his stuff. I think they have the freedom to truly tell people what they believe. But now it's like we're questioning. But you said this 10 years ago. Was this because of a sponsor and you were just trying to get your money? Hey, no disrespect. I get it. I understand. But if this is your true position, especially as a public figure, like where do you fall on all these other topics? And it's just interesting to me how they had those two people back to back, especially with the broader theme and especially during an election year and then right after the Super Bowl. I just want to know what's going to happen after this interview with Joe Rogan, right? Because Joe Rogan has to be on some sort of hit list unless he's too big.
It's interesting that that you say that because during that same interview, there was another clip that I saw or heard actually that Katt Williams was talking about the Emerald tablets, bro. Like he was talking about Thoth. He got like that deep. Like this is like probably one of the most deepest conversations Rogan has had with anybody else when it comes to spirituality. And out of all people, like for Katt Williams to be like dishing out that type of knowledge, not everybody knows what the Emerald tablets are. Not everybody knows who Thoth the Atlantean is. Nobody knows the history of how Thoth and Hermes Trismegistus is actually the same person. So for Katt Williams to be dishing out some Emerald tablet knowledge, I'm pretty sure because this is stuff that these people, right? These people, they don't want to know. They don't want the general public to know about, right? Because
I think at this point, right? I don't think they care. I don't think they care.
Or do they?
I don't think they care. Here's the thing. This is, if you want to start like comparing, right? Like eras in history versus today. There were two times in history where the powers that be didn't give a fuck, right? Mm-hmm. Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible, powers that be did whatever they wanted, didn't care, didn't heed the words of people that were warning that what was going to come. And right before the Egyptians got free. And then now, right? So like if you were just to play those things, right? And all the thousands of years between those two events and the thousands of years between the Jews being set free and today, not much has changed, dude. Mm-hmm. Other than maybe technology. Mm-hmm. People haven't changed. Powers that be haven't changed. Yeah, maybe the figureheads have changed, but like the hunger for power haven't changed.
And that's what we talk about when history repeats itself. It doesn't really repeat. It actually often rhymes, right? And that's why everything is cyclical. So even like when you look at the macro, right, from thousands of years ago, thousands of years ago, when the Roman Empire was the dominant power of the world, and you look at how the United States has been over the last 200 years, you can see a parallel. You can see in the monetary system how things are going. You can see how, and again, this is not a political podcast. I'm just making a comparison on how everything is cyclical, right? Because one of the main reasons of the fall of the Roman Empire is because they kept printing money. Their coin was worthless because they had no silver, no gold in it. They kept diluting the shit out of it, and to the point there was just no money. So that's pretty much like kind of like what's happening. We're in the midst of that right now in the United States. So it's just very, very cyclical. So when you go back to what you were just saying,
no, finish your thought, please.
So to go back to what you're saying, it's nothing new under the sun. People's behaviors aren't going to change. they get drunk off the wine. They're in the Coliseum. What are people doing? They're getting fucking drunk, and at the Super Bowl, they're paying attention to all the sensationalism, right?
They're taking that nose candy, that Molly, and that scissor, and just being like, "Hey, yo, dog, let's go." No, but it's funny. I want to give shout out to South Philly Reef. He's on my Instagram live right now, and he just brought this up. This was all talked about many, many years ago in one of the books of the Bible called the Book of Revelations. Right? Daniel had a vision about these times and about specifically, how you say the Roman Empire and how the U.S. Empire or the U.S. Republic, however you want to call it, I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on, right? We are the new coming of the Roman Empire. Yes, but what was the picture in the Bible when they talked about this? It was an unstable foundation. It was clay and iron mixed together at the feet. If you want to pull up that statue of Nebuchadnezzar, and I'll show you what I mean, right? It's funny that all these things are happening, and to like people that have been in some sort of faith religion, right, in the Judeo-Christian era style, they've seen these things coming, and now the occult it's weird because the occult thing is really weird because it's nothing new and it has a lot to do with what's going on, but it's like these battles of spirituality and principalities have always been happening. It's let me see. Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's the statue. Put Daniel's dream statue, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, right there. That one of those. Yeah. Look at the one with the diagram right next to that one. Next to it.
This one?
No, right, like the very one to the left or right. I don't know which way the computer's showing you. One of those, yes, one of those. You look at the feet, bro. Look at the feet. Clay and iron.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you think about like the eras in humanity, and if you do any, theological studies, and, I've done plenty of this. Bronze, Nebuchadnezzar, that's Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
That's Babylon. Gold and silver, that was Greece or whatever, right? I'm going to get some of this wrong, and some of the biblical scholars will get me wrong. Brass, Rome, right? Iron, the next kingdom, and now the rebirth, stone. Dude, it's crazy. All of those things.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is all like in between the Old Testament and the New Testament. All these things kind of line up, and it's funny how you see these things play out in pop culture today, with all the occult rituals and all these things. All those same occult rituals were happening back then too.
Oh yeah, big time. And the thing is that the elite, the people who may be the powerful, the celebrities, right? Let's call them the Illuminati celebrities. Let's just call them that, right? These people, they partake and participate in ciertos rituales, ¿verdad? In certain rituals and parties, right? So, for example, during Christmas time, there's a weekend during Christmas time called Saturnalia. And Saturnalia...
This is new to me. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, so Saturnalia is a Roman / pagan holiday, and it's all based around sacrifice, bro. And that's it. It all goes back to the Roman Empire and Egypt. And when you take a look at it, and it's basically like one big ass orgy, dude. Let me just show you some pictures here.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's not like an.
Why is everything revolving an orgy? What is up with these people?
It's dude. That's just
bro. Like syphilis is a real thing. We don't need to like be putting our penises in everything that walks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It feels really good. Find yourself a good woman that has been tested and cleaned, and stick it in her as much as you want, or gay partner, whatever. But don't go around sticking it into everybody.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's out though. So Saturnalia is an ancient Roman festival and holiday in honor of the god Saturn. Okay, held on the 17th of December, the Julian calendar. Later expanded the festivities through the 19th of December. By the 1st century BC, the celebration had been extended through the 23rd of December for a total of 7 days of festivity. The holiday was celebrated with a sacrifice at the temple of Saturn.
Check this out. Check this out. This is my favorite part right here. Read a little further down. Roman social norms. Gambling was permitted.
Yes, gambling was permitted. The masters provided table service for their slaves, and it was seen as a time of liberty for both slaves and freedmen alike. A common custom was the election of the king of Saturnalia, who gave the orders people which followed and presided over merrymaking, which is one big ass orgy. Gifts were exchanges.
Merrymaking. That's what we're calling it from now on, Jose. We're not calling it orgies. We're just calling it merrymaking.
Merrymaking. The gifts were exchanged, and usually gag gifts or small figurines. So basically what we're getting here when people are celebrating Christmas and exchanging gifts, it goes back to Saturnalia, and it goes back to that, bro. It goes back to Saturn. And that's what these people do. So now, like, we're coming up on Easter, right? Easter is another type of Saturnalia type of celebration, but it goes back to the god of Ishtar. Easter, Ishtar. And it's the celebration of fertility.
Right? Well, here's the thing. If you are a Jew, a Christian, or an Arab, these rituals don't pertain to you. I'm sorry. Because Jesus was sacrificed the week of Passover.
Mm-hmm.
He was sacrificed. What we consider Good Friday is the Passover meal in the Jewish calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's a different meaning for us. Because I don't believe in the bunny. I've never celebrated Easter with the bunny. Mm-hmm. It's called Easter on the calendar.
No, I don't, but there are
people that do.
Americans, specifically in the United States, that practice egg hunts and, Easter egg hunts and things like that. But if you go back to it, if you understand what the origin of the Easter egg hunt was,
it's a fertility ritual.
It's a fertility ritual. It's all a fertility ritual.
A lot of merrymaking.
Definitely a lot of merrymaking, and it goes back to Ishtar, who was a goddess of fertility, goddess of passion. It's crazy, bro.
And you know what this goes back to? Constantine.
Yes,
it goes back to Constantine, because Constantine was a converted Christian. You know this, right?
He was a pagan before, bro.
Yeah, he was a converted Christian. Towards the end of his life, he converted into Christianity, and he's the guy who installed the Gregorian calendar, which is the current calendar that we use today, and he's the guy who helped put together the original English translation of the Bible.
But that's another truth bomb that people don't know, that our calendar is fake and gay.
It's fake and gay. Just like space.
Shout out to Juan. Shout out to Juan.
It's fake and gay.
But yeah, because they changed it. What was it originally? 13 months instead of 12?
The Jewish calendar is a 13th month calendar, and it runs on lunar cycles.
Yeah.
Because every Jewish holiday has to start on the Sabbath of a full moon.
Interesting.
Right? It's 13 months. And the Jewish calendar goes back, 14,000 years? Not 2,000 years?
No, 5,700.
Either way, it's a lot longer than the current.
During the Jewish year, 5784.
5784, right? So, like, if the Jewish calendar is that old, the current timeline that we're on is just wrong.
Oh, of course, bro. And if you look at the Chinese calendar, that's even older.
Well, yeah, but either way, right? Like, it's time is an illusion. I mean, I guess
we're in a matrix, bro.
We're in a matrix, yeah. Time is illusion.
We're an organic matrix.
But before I go crazy deep into this, because this is just another one of those things. It's like, dude, it's like this was to me the early Christian attempt, right? The early church trying to convert as many people as possible at the time by saying, hey, you can still keep some of your customs as long as you recognize Jesus Christ. Yes and no, right? Like there's a lot of things in the Bible that doesn't add up to that. That doesn't add up to that, and I don't want to sound too preachy, but this is the whole thing, right? But I think about these things, and it's like, okay, so this was set in motion on good faith by somebody who either wanted to control people or truly believed in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know the guy. I can just tell you he was one of the guys who wrote the first Bible or who put together the first Bible, because he ordered it and people did it because of him, right? So now you got to think back in timeline in history. You're like, okay, so Christians celebrate Christmas during this time because they line up with this thing and all this thing, because really when you think about, the birth of Jesus is really closer to September according to actual biblical studies, right?
Exactly.
I'm not saying, look, and I get it. It's just a day on the calendar where Christians decided, it's like, okay, well, we don't know the exact date, but this is the day we're going to choose to celebrate him. And I get it. I do.
It coincides with the winter solstice. So it's like, oh yeah, sure.
We'll just pick this magical day, right? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it's just weird. But moving away from this topic, let's talk about cults, bro.
Oh man, Radia was an amazing guest. Dude,
Bro.
that interview was mind blowing. So we had an interview a few weeks ago, mi gente. We had Radia Glees on. She's an author. She had an amazing interview and an amazing story. Y ella compartió con nosotros su cuento de cómo se separó de un culto, bro. El Buddha Field cult. I've never heard about this cult until we started talking about it and doing research on it. Bro, but like, she was in that cult for quite a while, and dude, like, she shared some crazy ass stories. But you have a better relationship with her than I do because you know her personally. So,
bro, first of all, like here's the thing, like most people don't know. I mentioned it when we did a podcast with her, but I used to work with her, right? She was just another coworker for me at one point. And then she was like, hey, I'm releasing a book, and, we're both creatives. We know plenty of people that are writing books and release them and they don't do well. So we're just like, hey, good for you. You're a published author. Right. But then she was like, no, this is going to be big. And she hands me a copy. She signs it. I have it somewhere around here. And I read it and I go back with my eyes bigger, like the jaw-dropping things she said during the podcast was the initial conversation I had with her after I read the book. Bro, like, I sat here and I'm like, you did what? For how many years? She's like, yeah. And you did what? For how many? And he did what? And she's like, yeah, he did all these things. Yeah, he put flashlights in people's eyes to make them think that they were convulsing. And some people were epileptic and they thought they really saw Christ when they were just having an epileptic seizure. And I'm like, yo, whoa. And this happened here in Texas? And she was like, yeah, Austin, down the street. And I'm like, whoa. Para. Stop. Mentiras. No, bro. Her sources check out.
What I loved about how she laid everything out in the interview, and I know that she is a little more political, but without getting too political, what the parallels of that cult leader was compared to former President Trump, right? And the similarities of how they communicate and how they engage with their base and how they manipulate them in a certain way, right?
Don't bury the lead, bro. Don't forget about the Aleister Crowley connection.
Dude, and not only that, dude, that was crazy too, that the cult leader of that group was a student of Thelema, which is an Aleister Crowley practice, which is mind-blowing, and she confirmed that in the interview too, bro.
It's to me, you ever, like, Jose, you know how you meet certain people and you're like, she's a treasure, we need to protect her at all costs? That's Radia.
Absolutely.
Radia is a treasure. She's an American treasure, needs to be protected at all costs. No, I mean that. Like here's the thing.
She is an American treasure.
Huh?
She absolutely is an American treasure.
She's an American treasure. She's a wealth of knowledge. And if anybody ever has an opportunity to sit down one-on-one with her and just pick her brain, I suggest that you do. Because she leans very left and you don't have to agree with her point of views, but she's very, very, and I mean, stupid smart, man. Like it's like, I don't mean like this. I say this with all the love in the world because she's one of the most loving people I've ever met. But she's smart. She's well read. She's a true intellectual, and she thinks her opinions all the way through, and she's not afraid to admit when she's wrong. And she's not against a lot of the modern day political movements, but she's also like, I seen where this goes. This is a bad road.
Mm-hmm.
And when she sees things like Donald Trump, for example, right, whether you love him or hate him or are indifferent, you have to recognize her analysis of the guy with her experiences, and you have to take that into consideration, especially since it is an election year. It's kind of, I hope we have her back on before the election, because I would love to dive deep into this before the election with her. You have to start thinking, it's like, okay, everybody's has a level of narcissism in their DNA. But that malignant level of narcissist, like her cult leader, whatever his name was, Cookie or Juan or whatever his name was today, right? Because he had like 10 different names and I couldn't keep up, if I'm honest with you. You have to think about it. It's like, okay, what are we following and why are we following this? Are we following him because we're projecting who we are? Are we making Donald Trump our own personal, shout out to Juan, homunculi? Right? Or are we blindly following a leader because he's saying all the right things at the right time? Are we the white girl being wooed? Being wooed by the gym bros? Like, hey girl, what's going on? I can bench.
As long as nobody's trying to making me, I'm good with that.
Look at these guns. I'm a lot stronger than everybody else. I can bench press 455 pounds, and I'm the strongest man.
You'll make the most money when you buy my new Donald Trump Air Force Treasons, because those are the most gold, best sneakers you'll
The real gold, the real faux gold, directly from China. Directly from China.
Karat. They're 48 karat gold. You can't even find this gold anywhere.
Listen, they're $5,000 a pop. It's well worth the investment. It goes to a good cause, my pocket foundation.
These sneakers are made out of Bitcoin. It's the only best Bitcoin ever made.
Speaking of Bitcoin, bro, Bitcoin hit his all-time high this week.
Yeah. But
it's doing good, but we'll save that for our financial and truth of money episode, because I'm getting all the experts lined up for that one. Pero mira,
that's gonna be fun.
Pero mira, bro, what the fuck is going on with the communications over the last 2 weeks? Last week we had internet outages with T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. And then yesterday, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp goes down, bro. So
well, let's just say Facebook went down, which has 3 companies, right? So, man,
dude,
isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? Right before tax season, all this happens. Right in the middle of tax season, right as the Fed is doing all this crap with our currency. It's the most insane thing I've seen, dude. Like, I'll tell you this, man. I work in the healthcare industry, and I work a lot with the PBMs. If you don't know what PBM means, PBM is the pharmacy benefit managers, and we use a lot of this infrastructure to do our billing and stuff, and run our claims. I haven't been able to run claims in 3 weeks, dude.
Wow, that's going to be a serious issue, bro, because
it's already a serious issue. Like, the ones that work, they work, and you could tell they're not working off of this system. They work off an independent system or like an alternate system. But if you take name brand medication and you have a coupon, good luck trying to get those. Right? If you work with Optum, bro, good luck. If your insurance is Optum RX and you're trying to get paid claims right now, good luck. Like, I'm over here, like, I see this happening in real time, and I'm like, ay, Dios mío, so many people. And you know who's the worst affected? People of Medicare age, bro. Moms and dads, grandfathers, 65 and over. The people who are supposed to, like, be taken care of in society are the ones being affected the most. It's like, they're like, hey, we need to control population. What if we just, stop paying for their medications for a month? How many of them died today? Like, literally is what's
that's
happening.
some dark shit, but you know what? That's actually That's not far out of the realm of possibility, bro. Porque es que, mira, these things have been happening now with the network outages, with Facebook and social media being down. This shit's been being fed to us since last year, bro. Since last year. Did you watch that movie Leave the World Behind?
No, I didn't.
No? Watch it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this movie was released fall of last year, and it predicts this right here, the cyber attacks
Now,
across
my
America.
question is, do we have a source of the cyber attack? Is it in-house? Is
So
it
the news
foreign?
is feeding us. The news is feeding us that it was a solar flare. That the solar flare interrupted the network outages, right?
Which is possible. Let's be honest, technology-wise, it is possible.
right? But then there's also this other situation happening on the other side of the world. I think it's like near like the Red Sea. It's one of the areas over there by where the Middle East is, where a lot of the cables that are underwater, 97% of internet traffic goes through there, and they've been working on that, and that's been down, right? So this movie that was released last year, which was produced by the Obamas, by the way.
Of course.
Produced by the Obamas, and also produced
the
by
head of the Illuminati in America, the Obamas.
Produced by the studio called A24. And A24 has like a bunch of occultic movies, bro. But I want to point out a couple of things in this trailer. And I'm not going to play the trailer. We're just going to show some still frames through the trailer. So last year, you remember the Hawaii fires, the Maui fires. Remember that, right? Okay. And you remember that during the Maui fires, that all the houses or anything that had blue was intact. So the houses that had the blue roofs and bro, like it's all documented. These houses, these blue houses, weren't affected, right? So there's something with the color blue. I don't know what it is. Again, I'm just connecting the dots, right?
Hey, are you Democrat? Do you believe in the democratic process? Paint your house blue, and you will the spirit of evil will pass right over you.
Well, check this out, bro. So this is like in one of the opening scenes. We have like a blue room right there, right? Then if we scroll down a little bit, we have a house that has
a blue room.
Another blue room.
Is that a blue roof right there?
Yeah, that's a blue roof and a blue car.
Oh Lord.
So the person who the director of this movie is the guy that did Mr. Robot. So if you watch Mr. Robot, you know that there's a lot of symbolism in there too, right? Anyways, so pretty much the story is this married couple goes into the woods to get away for the weekend, right?
Of course.
During the weekend,
white people in the woods. Never ends well.
During the week, so this is an Airbnb. This isn't even their house, right? So then this guy shows up, right? Because something's happening in the city, and he's trying to explain to this couple that this is their house, and we want to try to stay here. So they're very apprehensive because they see this black guy in the middle of nowhere trying to go back into the house. So these white people are being very racist and very protective. Anyways, later in the movie, the guy reveals that he is actually the owner of the house and whatever. But this guy is a finance guy. And this guy is talking throughout the movie about the group, the secret cabal. He's talking about that, right? So there's a part in the movie where he's talking about his friend getting together with him, and he gives him a phone call. And this is like right after they see the news with the cyber attacks right there, right? Fucking planes start falling out of the sky. Boats start crashing into the shore, all because the internet and then the networks are down. There's no communication, dude. Nothing is happening, right? So that guy that I just showed you at the beginning right here, this guy, he starts talking to Julia Roberts, and he starts talking about his friend, and he starts joking. He's like, oh, it's Christmas time. Are you going to go and have one of your winter solstice festival rituals? And he starts laughing. He's like, I can't talk about that. A week later, his friend sends him a text. He's like, I hope you have everything in order. And then 2 days later, that cyber attack happens. So they talk about the rituals. They talk about the Illuminati or the group or whoever it is. And there is tons and tons of predictive programming in this movie, dude. So, and when I say predictive programming, I say how people are gonna start acting, and so people start turning against each other. So there's a scene here where someone, pulls a gun on someone, and then you see the Tesla cars start crashing into each other, all because like the network is down. So there's like the Teslas all crashing into each other. So this movie is all about the cyber attacks and how coincidental or synchronistic it is that last week we had outages with the internet according to a solar flare. And then yesterday, Facebook and a lot of social medias are down. So,
well, Zuckerberg is making knives and swords in Japan. It's freaking perfect, right?
And then another thing I wanted to point out over here. So, you are aware of that deity, ancient deity Baal, right?
Baal, yeah.
Baal. Look at the cover right here, bro. And these are the people that are making the graphic design for these movies, bro. Look what it says right here. B-A-A-L.
Oh, Lord.
Baal. Bro, you can't make this shit up, dude.
We're either reaching, and this is great content, or we're 100% right, and we're geniuses.
I don't know, dude. Listen, I don't call myself an expert. I don't understand this shit more than I did the last time. All I'm doing is connecting the dots, looking. Dude, you know what's the crazy part about this movie too, bro? The opening scene. The opening scene, there's a 666 in there. And I'm going to show you. Yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring it up.
This is fair use. Fair use.
Again, I'm not going to show the movie or the clip, but I'm going to show you the still of it. Hold on. What is this? No. F movies. Hold on, guys. This is what happens when we're recording. I'm probably going to edit this part out.
It is what it is. But it's weird, right? What do you think? While you're looking that up, what do you think the mark of the beast will be or is right now?
I don't know, dude. I don't know because I don't think it's there. I don't think it's here yet. Oh, I found it. Boom. Found it.
Hold
on. Thank God for YouTube. All right. So check this out, dude. So let me bring this up. So this is the opening scene of the movie. And remember how I told you that the blue is significant. I don't know why it's significant, but from what I understand, blue emits a certain frequency, and the number of that frequency is 666. Check this out. Opening scene right here. 6 on the cup. It's 6 o'clock on the clock, and another 6 right here on the alarm clock on the side. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like this is not stretching, bro.
I'm not saying you're stretching. I'm just saying it's too on the nose. Like I said, I don't think they care. They're not hiding anymore. They don't care.
They don't.
They don't care.
Don't care, bro.
Powers that be don't care. Because if they cared, they would be more occultish about it. Now they're just like, hey.
Well, also remember when we had that interview with Thomas and he was talking about order out of chaos, and a lot of times what these people will do, they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. It's part of it's kind of like a karmic rule, right? So that way they don't feel guilty, right? So they'll show it to you in a movie, or they'll show it to you in a TV show or in a commercial, and they did their job. They're like, okay, we did our job. We told them what we're gonna do. Now it's on them. Now it's their responsibility.
It's like
that's a fucked up way of going about it, bro. Like if you're gonna tell me you're gonna destroy the world via fucking cyber attack in a movie, and then you do it 3 months later, come on, man. It's kind of mind blowing, ain't it?
It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
Is melted, bro.
Bro, like, like I'm over here like, okay, then what's the point? What's the point? Like what's the point? Like I'm just like Jesus. Like Joe Rogan said it best. If there's a good time for Jesus to come back, it's right now.
For sure, the world needs some Yeshua, bro.
They need some Yeshua. They need some Yahweh, some I am. They need, look, man, they need a lot more than just an alien sighting. They need him to walk here like a conquering king and say, like, y'all need to stop all this BS and start acting right. Because y'all remember the last time my daddy got mad and the entire world was flooded. Let's not have that repeat again.
Listen, man, here's the truth with a capital T. And I think one of the reasons why Danny and I started this podcast, and I honestly think, bro, that we're being divinely guided to partake in the spiritual battle, because I honestly feel like there's some type of spiritual battle. Now, I am not the most religious person. I definitely have a relationship with my father and a relationship with Yeshua, and I understand that, and I'm being more conscious of reading the Word and reading the Bible every day, and just having a closer relationship with Him, right?
Yeah.
But I deeply inside feel like this is like our part of helping people either open their eyes for those who want to see, or open their ears for those who want to hear. But I'm not trying to lead people. We're not trying to lead people to water. We're not trying to sell you misinformation. But these are our opinions. These are our dots that we're connecting. But and if you want to believe it, great. If you don't, then that's great. You know, take it for the entertainment value that it is. But I also firmly believe that little by little we are awakening people up, right? And it's about leading the horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? They have to drink all on their own.
Bro, it's like this. There's a, for all the, I hate to say this because it's so like modern day Christian to say. It's so American Christian to say, right? It's he died for you whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's up to you to believe it or to not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And it's funny that you say that we're in the spiritual battle, because I recently took that personality / spiritual gifts test that I told you about off air. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm an IS, and it pointed me to some verses in the Bible that lead to certain characters in the Bible and what they were. And one of my spiritual gifts, according to this test, now how accurate it is, man, I don't know anything about this. I'll be honest with you. I'll be caveat, I don't know, but I'm just repeating what it told me, was to preach the word. To preach the word and to motivate and lead people to that. Mm-hmm. And I know that we've been very intentional, and this is behind the scenes for some people that might be listening, that, you know, it's like, what are these two brothers doing? Just talking all this crap, talking, you know, sometimes they have foul language, sometimes they don't. You know what? God is still working on my mouth, man. Being honest with you, right? It's one of those things where it's like there's something divine, I believe, happening in the world, because it's not just us. I don't believe it's just us. There's so many content creators that are coming out now. Mm-hmm. And like I mentioned earlier, Ruslan KD is another one of those guys, you know. Shit, Joe Rogan. Man, there's other guys that are just like, yo, it's like God is moving in this generation in ways that I never seen in my 33 years.
I absolutely love that you said that, because when you're looking from one side, on the podcasting side, the podcasting celebrities like Joe Rogan, right? But then when you move over to mainstream celebrities now, bro, you have people like Hulk Hogan accepting Yeshua. You have people like Kat Von D, who was
a practicing Satanist.
Yes, dude. Like, and she converted. You have, if you follow wrestling, Elias.
Bro, no es por nada, los pelos se me están parando.
Bro, Elias on TikTok, is absolute fire. That guy knows the word of God like the back of his hand. He went and got baptized at the Jordan River last year.
Bro, here's my whole thing, right? The battle here is, yeah, will there be a physical war? I believe so. I think it's bound to happen because the powers that be are hungry for power and they want more power and they want more resources, and there's a finite amount of resources in this world. But the real battle is in the mind. The real battle is in the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I don't know about you, but I can tell you from my point of view and what I've been experiencing in my day to day. Bro, the spiritual attacks have been like constant every day. Every day. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I was having a great day and then it turned. No, I'm talking about like hardcore, from night terrors to having visions. And this is not, I don't say these things out loud, and I'm freaking amazed that I'm saying this on air right now. And hopefully it brings some peace to somebody. And I really do pray that. But like, look, man, I think the most influential guy right now in the podcasting space that is using his platform to bring out not only the word of God, but like tell people, say, yo, I'm broken just like you. And these things that are happening in pop culture, let it be in the occult or the conspiracy theory space or whatever, he was like, the one of Logan Paul's guys, that Logan Paul, he was like, dude, I profess the Lord Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and I will never back down from it. And Logan Paul like scoffed at him. And then next thing you know, the dude went viral a year and a half for sticking to his guns.
Crazy, yeah.
Bro, all I'm saying, look, whether you believe it in or not, and honestly, I hope this reaches somebody's ears.
Yeah.
Whether you believe in it or not, the reason you might be having a good day is maybe it's because you're far away from his presence. And when you get close to him, man, it's like when you're already walking in the bad path, man, everything seems normal and everything's going your way. But when you start going that right path, man, that enemy starts trying to imprint you with, let it be pornography, let it be violence, bad music, whatever, to get you back into that bad road. All of a sudden, you go, no, that's not who I am anymore. And I think we have been a very, in the last several years, I know you live in Florida, I live here, but we've been going through like that spiritual side of things. Just like I deconstructed from my faith for many years. I deconstructed from my faith. And now that I'm back into it and I see all these things happening in pop culture, and I'm like, bro, that seed that was planted in that deep part of my soul that knows that it's wall-to-wall Holy Ghost, and I sit here and I go, this isn't right. Right? I see people like, and man, even the programming on Netflix, like shows like Love is Blind. Right? Like, oh, let's see if we can get these people together and love on each other without seeing each other. They're picking people without even really getting to know them. And then they're like being portrayed out in the world and saying, hey, become faithful to this person. And then you find out about him. I was like, oh, she was a stripper and she wants to find love on a reality show. Or, oh, he had.
I mean, strippers are deserving.
No, I'm not talking. I'm not trying to diminish. I'm not trying to diminish sex work. That's not what I'm trying to do. Like, bro, do you, whatever. But it's the train wreck of things, and like, it's ridiculous how all these things have happened. And then I'm like over here with this spiritual walk and this walking of faith, and funny enough, as we started doing this podcast, it's like the attacks on my spirit are getting worse. I'm not gonna lie, they're getting worse. How many times a week do I call you? It's like, dude, this happened, and you're like, bro, could write that down, pray about it, right? Like it's like every day, and then it's like the deeper I dive, the harder it gets. And then these things and these topics come up, and you're like, okay, hold on, I read this somewhere. Oh, it was here. Now it's here. Now this guy. Now that guy. Then you make the connections and you're like, oh, God.
I know.
What are you showing me? What scales have you washed away from my eyes? And why me?
That's what happens when the good Lord lifts that veil. And it happened to me 2 years ago, bro.
bro. It's like Road to Damascus.
It's like you can't. It's like you can't see the world the same way, bro. And the thing is that for me, I can't have like conversations like this with anybody, right? Porque not everybody believes or understands that point of view. Either be
They're not
spiritual
supposed to.
or be the conspiratorial, because it almost kind of like blends in with each other for one way or
They
another.
can, and the thing is, you have to have the discernment, right, to understand. It's like, okay, is it truly the enemy or is it human nature, right? Like sometimes, like we talked about Bray Wyatt with Kevin, right? And you're like, well, I thought he was a sacrifice, and I'm like, let's not put everything into the occult ritual side. It's like, let's think about this. He sold out for his gimmick, and I think that's a form of sacrifice. Is it self-sacrifice? Maybe.
Yeah.
Right. But you think about those things, and you think about, these characters in history that have lost their minds for their art. Van Gogh. Some might call him possessed. It takes a lot of a man to cut his own ear off, right? Friggin', Kurt Cobain sold out for his gimmick. Did it line up with occult rituals? Maybe. I don't know. We would have to go back in time and find out. But I look at those things and I'm like, there's human nature. Then there's true spiritual battles. And at the end of the day, it's very hard to differentiate between what's happened, what's in the person's mind, because you're not in the person's mind, versus like you say, predictive programming or programming in general, where people are being like, well, this is happening. And now, and it's easy in today's world, right? With the TikTok and the Reels and the YouTube Shorts to see like, well, this happened here because of this moon and this constellation and blah, 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 blah. And I like to like, okay, take away all of that for a second. How was he as a human? Bray Wyatt self-admittedly suffered from all these mental issues.
But I mean, you can also take away, even though, yes, I understand that. But maybe Bray Wyatt was a form of a homunculus.
Oh, no, I agree with that. I mean, Vince McMahon is the alchemist. I said it on the podcast before.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, Bray Wyatt was a form of a homunculus, and Vince McMahon was like, well, God damn it, I'm done with you, Bray. And he killed the homunculus, therefore he killed. I mean, I don't know. I'm making shit up now.
No, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, we're going to figure that part out, right? So getting into the world of wrestling for a little bit, dude, are you seeing some of these reels trying to predict what's going to happen in WrestleMania?
Not really, bro.
Dude, it's hilarious.
You know what, dude? I've gotten away from following TikTok wrestling, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, because I'm going to say something that a lot of wrestling fans are going to fucking hate me about, but you fucking wrestling fans suck.
Oh, no, they suck. Oh, no.
Wrestling fans suck.
We as a wrestling fan, we suck.
As a wrestling fan, like, I can't stand some of these wrestling fans because they've been clamoring for The Rock and Roman for years. Now you had it on a silver platter, and you're like, no, I don't want it. Oh, shit. Like, no, I don't want it.
Just like that. Throw away the brass ring.
Yeah, I don't want it. We want Cody. Now we have all these Cody crybabies.
Oh, so
you have all these Cody crybabies.
Are you gonna go full heel on me right now? Are you gonna go full heel on me right now?
No. It's not. I'm just saying, bro. Like, these fans are ungrateful. These fans are, little crybaby bitches, like The Rock says, bro. You guys had the most historic, biggest match of all time, and you guys flushed it down the toilet.
Is it the biggest match of all time? Because I think with The Rock being involved makes this matchup the biggest match of all time.
That's exactly what The Rock versus Roman.
No, I think with The Rock being part of the bloodline makes Roman versus Cody the biggest, most influential match of this generation.
I mean, now that we're having the story unravel, yes, absolutely. But how cool? But I still think we're gonna see some crazy ass shit later on. on night 2. I don't know.
Still,
I
think that somehow Cody's going to come out with the dub, and I think The Rock's going to have a lot to do with it. Because, come on, bro.
I agree.
This is an acknowledgement. This is an acknowledgement. This is acknowledgement. This is an acknowledgement. This is acknowledgement. You know what I'm saying?
That's the one thing. So he's really not acknowledging him when he's throwing up the L instead of the 1.
He's doing like this.
Truth. That's the truth with the capital T.
This is not an acknowledgement. This is.
This is we acknowledge you. This is not acknowledgement.
We're going to go viral on wrestling TikTok, guys. This is not an acknowledgement. This is. You know what else is an acknowledgement? If you're Paul Heyman. Oh, my tribal chief. Oh, my tribal chief.
All right. We need to stop talking about wrestling on this show. It ain't a wrestling podcast. Fuck that.
Nah, we talk about whatever the heck we want. It's a Cultura Truth Project, and it's our culture. And we talk about what we want. Anyway, anything else we got to cover?
No, that is it, bro. I think, as we go on next week, we're going to have, we're bringing on Joel Thomas from Merkle Media. Yeah, Joel Thomas, bro, you're going to love this. We're going to be talking cryptids next week, bro. We're going to be talking Bigfoot. We're going to be talking Nephilim, Chupacabras. This guy hunts the dog man, bro, up in Tennessee. So they got a documentary out in Amazon. So I got a lot of research to do by next week. So I got to watch that documentary and do that stuff. Fun. But we're going to be diving into some crazy shit next week with this cryptid episode, bro.
It's going to be fun. I'm interested to talk to him about all this stuff with the Nephilim, especially with the whole Miami thing a few months ago. It's going to be interesting. So, guys, give it to
me. Gente. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for listening to us if you listen to us on the podcast, for watching us if you catch us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us. Síguenos in YouTube and on Rumble. Cultura Truth Project. On Gonzalez Media TV on Facebook and on Instagram. And subscribe to the podcast on all major platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. Mi gente, love you, bro. Thank you, man.
Love you, man. Love you guys.
Love you.
Have a good evening, good night. Drive safe home, and see ya next time.
Nos vemos.